So, with General George Monk, Duke of Albemarle, who paved the way for Charles' restoration to the throne after Cromwell, and the historian and statesman the Earl of Clarendon as frontmen, and the selling point of the prospect of producing silk and wine, currants and olives, and other tropical commodities that were never realized in Virginia, they received the Carolina Charter of 1663, which gave them everything from sea to sea and from the boundary of Virginia to the north and the latitude of Daytona Beach, Florida to the south. It was to be similar to Maryland in its proprietary nature and to not permit laws to be enacted that were not consented to by the free men of the colony or that were repugnant back in England. It was also to have religious liberty. England wasn't as interested in having its citizens move to the colonies, but had the express hope that other colonials would move there as well as persecuted Protestants from Europe. Now, after two failures, Lord Ashley, without going there, established the first real settlement in Carolina, but not before, with the help of his secretary, the philosopher John Locke, drafting, quote, the fundamental constitutions of Carolina, unquote, the longest and most ridiculous piece of work that ever framed an English colonial government. It created a nobility, and anyone who purchased 3,000 acres could be a baron or lord of the manor. 12,000 acres gave the owner the title of cacique, and 20,000 the German title of Landgrave. The common people could elect members to a House of Commons, but no law could be enacted that wasn't approved by a majority of the nobility. Of course, this constitution, run by mostly absentee high muckety-mucks, could not work in a pioneer society. In 1669, Lord Ashley sent the only ship of three that didn't sink, sailing from England, which picked up a few hundred white emigrants from Barbados and landed in Carolina in 1670. Captain Joseph West landed near present-day Charleston, South Carolina, and established Charlestown. The principal occupations were raising livestock, cutting timber, or making barrel staves for sale to the West Indies, trading for furs and deerskins with the local Catawba Indians, as well as the Cherokees who lived further away, and selling Indian slaves they bought from these tribes who were captured in raids. Now, Colleton is the only proprietor to ever live in the province, found the whole thing to be a financial disappointment, and it was almost sold in 1675. The few hundred white emigrants from Barbados were poor and not much useful. So in 1680, a small group of French Protestants called Huguenots persuaded to settle near Charleston in order to cultivate the silkworm. In 1683, a group of Scots established the town of Port Royal. They were attacked by the Spanish, who claimed to own the entire territory. The Scotch survivors fled to the Cooper River above Charleston. Louis XIV of France, by revoking the Edict of Nantes and killing Protestants by the handfuls, encouraged a mass emigration from France to Carolina. A slave economy was built to grow rice near the coast, and the Huguenot names of Marion, Pettigrew, Huger, and Du Saussure became important in later South Carolina society. Rice plantations were dispersed as tobacco in Virginia, but due to French social instincts and malaria, most of the planters owned homes in Charleston and created an urban culture there. All right, we'll stop there. I hope you enjoyed that. Please feel free to make comments if you have something you want to add, or maybe you disagree with a point of fact. Provide your citations. Thank you. Have a good day.